Welcome back, everybody, to yet another Monday night live stream with your boy Clint, aka Magdump Morgan, whatever you want to call me, whatever. You're here, and that's what matters. That's how we're kicking off this week. I hope you all had a great weekend, and of course, I hope you all have plans to get to the range and have a great week. All right. So thank you guys, all of you, for tuning in. Of course, you saw from the title of tonight's live stream and, of course, from the thumbnail what we're going to be talking about building versus buying in these trying times in such an economy. Maybe building is at your own pace, or building at the pace in which your budget allows you is the direction that you want to go for your next or first AR or AR-10 build, or whatever it is that you want to build. But yeah, let's talk about that some. By the way, I know a lot of you probably commenting like, holy crap, he looks a lot different. That's because I had drill this weekend, okay? So there you go. All right. Uncle Sam doesn't like it when I have a beard. What are you going to do? All right. So with that being said, don't forget that I'm going to try to get to as many comments as possible. Okay. And I'm going to try to talk to all of y'all, and it gets a little difficult sometimes, but that's quite okay because, well, that's just actually a great problem to have. But with that, if you want to make sure that your comment or question gets read or at least looked at, make sure you go ahead and send in those super chats. I'm not saying you have to have a super chat in order to get recognized in that case, but it just makes things a lot easier. And of course, they are greatly appreciated and help support the channel. So, with that being said, let's kick this off. Build or buy? What is the answer? And I think we're going to have a lot of fun discussion about that tonight. But, of course, I want to go ahead and get to a couple of y'all's comments. It's very rare that I am late to my live streams, all right? If I say I'm going to be somewhere at a certain time, by golly, I at least try to be there at that time, okay? So there you go. And yes, Keith Decker, and here we go. It's good to see you guys. It's awesome how many of y'all tune in regularly every single week. It just blows my mind. So thank you guys so much. Appreciate it all day. Jay Roper is saying, is a budget AR better than no AR at all? Absolutely. Use the saved money for range, time, and ammo. Get out and train with it. And who's to say this, too? I think this is a common misconception when it comes to builds versus bot. Your builds don't have to be cheap. The build that you notice in the thumbnail where the light is hanging off, that was a cloud defensive light. We messed up the body and we decided let's just JB weld the light to the mount because those cloud defensive mounts are ridiculous. That didn't work, so we wound up just replacing the body. So, there you go. That was I think that was Alec that actually did that. If you're watching, buddy, I think that was on you. I own my shit. I'm just throwing that out there. But with that entire build, I think I pretty much went as expensive as I could go on every little thing. I think it was at the end of the day about a $3,000, $4,000 AR, right? So and of course, bot ARs are typically a little bit more expensive, and can be, you know what I mean? So there's that to think about. But In has a pretty he's got a good comment here. If you're going to rely on a piece of metal to potentially save you and your family's lives, would you rather have a $500 piece of metal or a $5,000 piece of metal? Now this is kind of funny though. Just because it costs more doesn't necessarily mean it's going to perform better either. There are plenty of things that are very expensive but lacks quality control and lacks reliability. So think about that as well. By the way, speaking of builds, some of you guys know, if you're following on Instagram and everything else, that we stopped by Q last week. We got to hang out with Kevin and the guys at Q, and we got to build our own Q products. And I'm just saying I'm really excited for what's to come there, and I'm just going to go ahead and spoil it for me. I built out a Honey Badger SD. All right. I am super excited about that. And Jason and I I was running a Honey Badger SD. He was running a Honey Badger. And we were just doing some, team type shooting, just having some fun for the intro of a giveaway video. And I jumped the gun, literally. I knew that he was going to run out of ammo soon. And so instead of on his 6 waiting for him to run out of ammo to continue my string of fire, I decided just to say, screw it, I'll eat the brass. No big deal. I've had brass hit me before. It's not that big of a deal, except when it gets caught right here between my hoodie and my neck, and it burns the living shit out of me. It's on camera and it looks great. And no, I did not stop. You see me try to use the stock. Yes, the stock, because it is a SBR, to kind of kick the brass out of there. And all that did was just kind of push it further into my skin. So I branded myself with a 300 blackout spent casing, and that sucked. But hey, at the end of the day, it was totally worth it because we got to have a really good time. And yes, we built those guns. I got to build my own Honey Badger SD. How freaking cool is that? Jason got to build not only his, but also a Honey Badger SD for the channel. I wonder why that is. Ryan is the only one that built a bolt gun. He built the Fix in 8.6 blackout, and I forgot to bring one of those rounds with me. I actually have some. They let me keep some, which is really cool. The 8.6 blackout is, I'm not gonna lie, I thought it was another gimmick, guys. That round goes hard. We'll talk about that soon, so stay tuned. But we got to build these guns, and that's kind of why we're talking about what we're talking about tonight, because there's something so satisfying about building these guns. And yeah, when I say we built these guns, let's go ahead and clear the air really quick about the difference between assembling and building. And some of you, I think, have already commented, because I can sit here and read the comments before I go live and figure out if there's going to be assholes tonight or whatever. There's always assholes, but you guys keep it entertaining, so that's cool. And then, of course, I get to see the OGs, the regulars, and everybody else, which is pretty cool. And somebody made a really good point. I think I saw Tanner somewhere in here, wherever. I'll get to the comments here in just a moment. But ultimately, he said assembling is taking a built upper and a built lower and putting those together, right? That's you've assembled your rifle. Sounds good to me, right? Or you've taken your completed upper and you've drop the charging handle and the bolt carrier group in it, then you put that on your lower, you've assembled your rifle. Yeah, that's assembling in my mind. Building is taking a stripped lower, stripped upper, and putting that shit together, right? Tactical Legos, if you will. And in my mind, you know, it's like if you just replace a trigger, you replace the trigger. If you replace the barrel, you replace the barrel. If you replace the takedown pins, you replaced the takedown pins. But if you do it all together at one time, you have built a gun. And that's how I view that, right? If you just replace the mag catch or the bolt release, you just installed or replaced those. But unless you did it, this is just how my brain works, all right? Unless you did it all at once, you didn't build it. All right, so there we go. Okay. There it is. Assemble, not build. Assemble, buying upper and lower. Right, exactly. So there you go. I'm doing an assembly build then according to that definition. T-Rex 52, assemble. Here it is. Buying a built upper and lower and putting them together. Literally what I just said. Build equals buying a stripped upper and lower, buying all the other goodies and building it. Manufacturing equals CNC or forging all of it. T-Rex 52, my man, you hit the nail on the freaking head. Good job. That's exactly what I wanted to hear. And you know what? I just realized something too. I didn't post on Instagram today about going live today and all that. Whatever, not that big of a deal, but I'm just pointing that out because we've already got over 1,000 people viewing live right now, which again is typically we average anywhere between like 500-600 somewhere in there, and over 1,000 2 weeks in a row is pretty awesome. So thank all of you for spending the time coming to hang out and being here with me on this Monday. Appreciate you all. AK Ted, I see you on Rumble. Good evening. Clint, what's up? And then UHL 1978. What's happening, Clint? What's happening with you guys? Thank you guys for stopping by. We've got a couple of super chats coming on over here. No, Joe, this is not a hickey. All right. Either one, a hickey or a scar from any type of hot brass, I will wear with honor and pride. and I'll be honest about which one it is, okay? So, nope, that is straight up a good old burn. Gio, good to see you. Clint, Mag Dump, Daddy, Morgan. That's good. I appreciate that, Gio. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Gio. Thank you, Joe, for the super chats. We got Trent in here. Trent Streichert. I think I got that. For new AR builders, do you think there is a company or brand you shouldn't be using for parts or whatnot? I do both personally build and buy. I do personally also build and buy. And are there brands to stay away from? There are plenty out there that you can watch that just don't, just look at the internet or go to Reddit and just look at what you have there, right? If you go to the Facebook group Mid-Tier Snobs, they'll tell you that you're a poor if you buy, I don't know, something like a Knights, right? That's a joke. But at the end of the day, are there brands to stay away from? Personally, there are some that come to mind. And these are, again, all personal opinions. Some people will buy like the polymer lowers and do great work with those, and they think that's exactly what they want as far as the range toy type thing goes. And maybe just for something I take to the range just for fun, yeah, maybe some of the polymer stuff. But quite frankly, why don't I trust some of the polymer things? I don't know. It's just something about a polymer AR lower that just kind of, and it's not like some of them haven't been proven in a way. There's plenty of other, like, look at the Scar 17. That's a 7.62 NATO rifle that's got a polymer lower. There's plenty of other firearms on the market that have polymer parts or lowers, and they run just fine. So, that's, I don't know, but that's one of the ones. And of course, some people might hate on Anderson because they're a little bit more affordable and things like that, right? Of course, everybody's heard the term poverty pony, which is rather offensive. But guess what? The lower receiver is also ironically talking about polymer, talking about Anderson, talking about Aero or whoever. The lower, all it really has to do is just not like break at the end of the day. It just has to hold in the pieces that are got some springs and stuff in them. I'm not saying it doesn't have an important job, but the part that I really want to make sure has, quality behind it is the upper receiver in my mind. The bolt carrier, the barrel, the upper receiver. To me, that's the life of the gun right there, or the heart, right? Everything else is in order to support that, to make sure that that functions reliably and that goes bang and that's throwing lead downrange accurately, right? That's how I feel about that. So the lower, even though I'm going on a rant about lowers, probably isn't all that important at the end of the day. It's the upper in my mind. So let me know if you guys agree or disagree with that. And with that, also, we've got Alex R. wanting to know when our next Bust Your Builds episode is coming out. I think we've got one scheduled for recording here at the end of this month, so like very soon. So keep an eye out for that. Thoughts on Fostech Armory's ARs? So I like Fostech, right? I'm a fan of those guys. I've had plenty of their products and I've run the crap out of them, and they do really, really well. They are they have different metals that they use, but I want to say their standard still uses magnesium, which is very lightweight, but it's not as strong as your typical materials that are used, like 7075 or anything like that. So just keep that in mind, but it is very lightweight. So, just again, keep that in mind, right? So, but Fostech in general, I love it. Love the guys over there. Judd Foster, RIP, awesome dude as well. And of course, these are the same guys that are dropping the 50 cal drum mag. And that's awesome. So gotta love that. All right. With that, continuing on here, double Lube tube fan 5. All right. Thanks. I went with an Radian ambi lower. It's sweet. Yes, it is the ADAC, right? Ambidextrous dual action control, ADAC, right? It's sweet. Only have a Diamondback upper though. I am fully embracing the stereotypical gun shop first build customer. That's okay. That is totally okay. And you definitely went with a solid choice with that Radian. You're going to love that thing. you already do, apparently. But I will say this. The Diamondback, actually, I've had a couple of Diamondbacks. They've always done well for me. Again, they're not like, top of the line or anything like that. But, hey, their stuff works. So that's good. But what's cool about what you're doing, though, is you've got a functioning rifle at the end of the day. And you've built out a Radiant Ambi lower, and now you can start going in and acquiring the pieces for your upper receiver or whatever else you got left. And, well, once you got that all built and together, now you take that Diamondback, put that to the side, start another build there, and then put your Radiant build all together, right? And now you've just got even more, and it's a lot of fun, and yeah, you're going to love it. So there you have at it. But yeah, great option with that Radiant. Good job. And then Harley Dye, any collab with SDI School for gunsmithing? We actually do have a couple of sponsored videos by SDI, and from what I'm gathering, it's a pretty unique opportunity, or I guess I could call it unique. It's pretty cool what they do. It's kind of like, from my understanding, is everything you need to learn, talking about building versus buying, things like that, everything you need sent to your door and to start gunsmithing, right? So again, having not taken any of the classes or have any experience with SDI in that regard, you guys tell me what you think, right? So there you have at it. All right, let's get back over to the comments section here. I want to catch up with a couple of you guys and see how y'all are doing. We've got the Prone Ranger wanting to know when Matt will do a live stream, and that's up to Matt, He's got more kids than I do, and so trying to keep up with all of them, especially with the age that they're at, a little bit older, that's probably a lot for him on the evenings. So I think once he leaves work, he just wants to go home and be home. You know what I mean? So it's completely up to him. I'm not saying it's not impossible because we've had him on streams before. So just, yeah, give him some time. I think it'll happen. Walnut Works. You can build in 10 minutes off YouTube. Yes, you can. And honestly, it's really not that difficult to build your first AR. And as Walnut Works says here, yeah, you can get a thorough understanding as to what to do, what not to do, some hints, tips, tricks, advice when it comes to building your first AR, especially with those really tiny springs and detents. Even now, I still send those detents going across the room, and that's something I'm really thankful for Anderson for, are their oops kits. You know how many oops kits we probably have open in the warehouse? It's ridiculous. But I will say this, learning these little trips and tricks to kind of retain all this stuff. And then there's also different tools to make your life easier as well whenever you start getting into building. So just, look at all that type of stuff. And yeah, shameless plug here, we offer that a little bit on the website. Okay. And yeah, let's keep on going on over here. Bam. Filippo Morevic. Hey, Clint, Zastava M70 or the Wasser 10. Thank you. Now, the Wasser 10, in its own regard, is a sought-after AK, like one of the original imports, you know what I mean? But to me, I think the Zastava M70 is just more better. Just what am I trying to say here? A more quality machine, all right? Zastava M70, I think you're going to like that a lot, and you just feel it more so whenever you pick it up and handle it. Chrome line barrel, forged trunnion, not forged. It is what is the word I'm looking for? 1.5 millimeter thickness instead of 1 millimeter thickness on your forward trunnion. Can you guys tell it's been a long weekend and a long day? Holy crap. Anyway, all I'm trying to say, it's strengthened. All right, it's enlarged. I cannot remember what the hell the word is I'm looking for. Somebody help me out here. What is... Y'all know what I'm saying with this Zastava M70. Bulged. Thank you, Tanner. Thank you. Bulged trunnion. Appreciate it, man. Thank you guys so much. All right, there you go. So with that being said, I just think, and y'all agree with me or don't, let me know. Just let me know if you think the Zastava is a better buy, stamped yes, better buy than a Wasser 10. I think it is. There you go. So there you go. Bulged receiver, bulged trunnion up front, making it thicker. That's where all these pressures are going, so it's nicer to have a little bit more reinforcement there. Is it absolutely necessary? No, there's plenty of stamped AKs without that bulge trunnion that are running around that are doing just fine, you know what I'm saying? But it's just the added level of quality that Zastava throws into their products that I am happy to say I own. So there you go. All right. Let's see here. Brandy, good to see you again. Hope your weekend wasn't as cold as mine. No, it wasn't. It actually wasn't bad. So that, that's nice. We've got Monadnock Shootist. We've changed from Monadnock Munitions to Monadnock Shootist now. 2 is 1 and 1 is none is not just for optics and red dots. Keep a spare bolt carrier group and other small components. Yes, especially detent, springs, grips, screws, all fun and games until a catastrophic failure. You're absolutely right. That goes for a lot of things, So good comment there by Monadnock Shootist. Good to see you again, man. Hope you are doing well. There you go. Let's see, the Southern Tank. Anyone else here try 3D printing lowers? I tested my first 2 this weekend. That's awesome. Check out Print Shoot Repeat, by the way. If you haven't, he's awesome. He's hilarious. Great guy. He's into all of that stuff, 3D printing, his own firearms and all that. So check that out. All right. And let's see here. I saw a couple more super chats come through. Thank you guys so much for that. And let's get over to refresh and reload. Good to see you again. Heard Canic TTI will drop in April. We'll see if get it. Of course we will. I think we're actually getting the first ones. So, hell yeah, dude. I'm pretty excited about it. Ready to shoot the hell out of that. So thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you, Refresh and Reload, for the super chat from 1 to 10. How would you rate Aero uppers? My first build is actually a 308 AR-10 M5, technically, because it's all Aero, and it's sitting right here behind me. I have run this gun pretty hard and have sent a lot of rounds through it. Like, nothing special either. I mean, it shot steel case, it shot brass. I've shot, high quality ammo, shit quality ammo, suppressed a lot, and this thing just keeps on running for me. Aero Precision, I think, is another brand that sometimes gets shit on by snobs. But at the end of the day, what Aero Precision brings to the market is affordable parts and components like Anderson, and that allows people to exercise their Second Amendment right, that allows people that might be on a tight budget to actually build and learn and gain that knowledge, and also that proud moment when they pull the trigger for the first time on a gun that they built that didn't break the bank. That's awesome. So I actually really respect these companies that are bringing to the market at an affordable price parts, components, receivers, barrels, everything you could ever ask for to build. And Aero Precision, I think, is just a step above some of the others out there. I think they do a great job with what they do, and quite frankly, I am all about building more Aero guns. I've built several, quite frankly. I love their build kits, right? It's a matching upper, lower, and rail in like a custom Cerakote or something like that. That stuff's fun. It's fun as hell, and it's cheap. Right? Literally a couple $100 gets you a matched upper, lower, and a rail, and then you can start piecing it together at whatever your budget allows. That stuff is exciting to me. It's a lot of fun, and 100% I would recommend Aero Precision. Also, now we are approaching over 2,300 viewers on tonight's live stream. Thank you all so much for being here. Why are y'all spending their Monday hanging out with some random dude on the internet? You know what I'm saying? Thank you guys. Can't get enough of y'all. Appreciate every last one of y'all being here. And with that, let's get to another couple of comments here. I guess technically you're asking me 1 to 10, what would I rate Aero's uppers? I'd say a 7. A good solid 7. I feel good about that. Let's see here. Randomly Epic. Are there any 2011s you'd recommend for $1,000? Or should I save up and go for something better? There's the funny little thumb going up again. Okay, for around $1,000, any 2011s that I would recommend. So, saving up is always a good option. There's no denying that the name Staccato, as expensive as it is, also brings the quality and the reliability and the reputation. Right? They are the epitome of you get what you pay for. And with that, are there 2011s that also for $1,000? Yeah, actually, there's one that we got in not too long ago. It's very lightweight. It is Turkish. It's from I can't remember if it's a Gerson or T-Sauce. I think it's a Gerson. 2011. That's actually pretty freaking cool. Ran it, shot it. It's been shooting great. So it's like, right? So leave it to those Turks over there just to bring in cool guns for an affordable price. With that, are there any other help out Randomly Epic here, and thank you Randomly Epic for the super chat. Boom, Rock Island makes a 2011. I've had plenty of Rock Islands as well. We've got Harley Diet, maybe a T-Sauce. Are you in any SDI chats? So yeah, you can talk about, yeah, I forgot about SDI chats. Thank you, Nakaya. We've got, let's see, Matrix Arms makes great lowers also. Yeah, Matrix Arms, duh, love those guys. Let's see here. Just get a Shadow 2 for $1,000. Shadow 2 is pretty nice. That's actually a really solid recommendation. Just throwing that out there. Let's see here. We've got another question from William Leiter. Is a bufferless build, such as a spear style, even possible for an enthusiast, but not a gunsmith? Yeah, there are different systems out there that make kind of like a buffer delete. But they're expensive, right? For what you're getting. There's also manufacturers like Foxtrot Mike that make their own proprietary recoil system that's still direct impingement, but you don't need a buffer system on the ass end of your gun, right? So there you have it. Now, there's something also to keep in mind about why the buffer system on like an AR, like your HKs and things like that, are actually like nice. You got to think about that reciprocating mass. And that buffer system, what is that buffer system doing? It's almost like I can hear the definition in the word that I'm saying. It's almost like it's buffering that felt recoil. And that's exactly what's happening. And that's why you can put in different weights. And that's also helps with reliability and things like that. When you think about some of the piston-driven guns that have a, self-contained recoil system that doesn't allow or doesn't necessarily need a stock or a buffer system in the rear of the firearm, you'll notice that you actually have a little bit more felt recoil too. So there's trade-offs on everything, and also more weight, right? So just that's funny. I'm just reeling this. Kyle Blum, Clint, your phone keeps vibrating. Yeah, that's funny. My bad. But anyway, so bufferless systems, I don't know. You guys let me know what you think about that. Me personally, an AR to me is an AR. If I want something bufferless, I will go the piston route or something like that. So there you got it. Right. Cool. Continuing on, we've also got, Dream Match Wrestling. Hey, thank you so much for that. Appreciate it. Just want to make sure I didn't click off of that without giving you the shout out, because thank you. Brad, hey, Clint, been loving the battle rifle content. That is awesome because I love battle rifles. It's almost like we planned that with our current giveaway, that Seekins Precision SP10. Tell me what you guys think about that. What were the biggest factors that made you go with 308 versus 6.5 Creedmoor? Sorry if I missed you discussing this before. Thanks. Not a problem whatsoever. The biggest factor is I had a lot more 308 than I did 6.5 Creedmoor. Literally it. 6.5 Creedmoor, I think, as much as I love 308, 7.62 NATO, whatever, I think 6.5 Creedmoor is the superior round. I know. Okay? But with that being said, for me, I had more available 308 at a better cost, and that's ultimately why I decided to go with a 308 Ballistic Advantage barrel, Chris Hansen profile with the straight flutes. Love it. Over 3,000 live viewers right now. Holy shit. Thank you guys for being here. And with that, 6.5 Creedmoor also, not that this is going to be a big deal for about 90% of us. I'd even go as far to say 97% of us. 6.5 Creedmoor, the barrels don't last as long as 308. How many, truthfully, is that going to, like, how many of us here in this live stream tonight, or actually just average American shooter, is that really going to affect? Probably not a lot of us. Like I said, probably about 97% of us, I would feel comfortable saying we're not going to be affected by the shorter barrel life of 6.5 Creedmoor over 7.62 NATO. Just saying, okay? If we want to be real. But that is ultimately why I decided to go with 308 over 6.5 Creedmoor. So thank you, Brad, for the super chat. Appreciate it. We've also got J954. Fold AR, $2,000, 100% worth it. Suppressed, of course. I'm looking at mine right now. I am going to SBR mine. I have 3 different barrels for it. I have the 16-inch, the 12.5 barrel, and also the Shorty 300 Blackout barrel. And yes, I am going to SBR it. And that Shorty 300 Blackout, I can't make up my mind between the 300 Blackout and the 12.5, which one I'm going to ultimate. Actually, I don't think I'm going to SBR it. That doesn't make sense because I have my Mark 18 that's already SBR'd. Sorry. I'll just keep the 16-inch folder the way it is. Because here's what's cool about Fold AR. If you guys haven't checked them out, 100% recommend you do. First of all, amazing people. Amazing people. The owners over there, Mel and Corby, are just some of the most like genuine, salt of the earth, magnificent people that all they want to do is get their guns into the hands and on the backs of school resource officers, ultimately saving lives and protecting our children. Because as we know, evil exists not even just in this country, obviously, it exists in the world. And having something as low profile as the Fold AR that you can deploy in the matter of seconds, right? Now you've gone from your pistol being your primary to holstering that, getting behind cover, taking that bag off, and it stays locked to the rear. Open this up, lock it in place, send the bolt home. Now you've got a carbine that you're entering the fight with and no longer just your pistol. That is obviously a substantial increase in lethality and force, which is exactly what you want, because if you find yourself in an unfair advantage, that's where you want to be, right? If you find yourself in that fair fight, that's not good. That means somebody's got the drop on you. That means surprise is not on your side. The element of surprise, that is. So at the end of the day, Fold AR is ultimately allowing people to have, with low visibility, an AR essentially, Fold AR, right there. Like when you need it in the matter of seconds, which is great, right? Not somewhere in your vehicle, not locked away in a safe or in a cabinet, somewhere away from you. It's on your person. Typically, I don't agree with off-body carry, which is like in a bag, but in this case, it's a carbine. It's your AR-15. I'm cool with it, and you still have your pistol as your, in that case, primary, right? So Fold AR, absolutely, 110% would recommend. Check out our SHOT Show coverage of those guys. They collaborated with Victor Marks. If you haven't seen who Victor Marks is, check him out on the Sean Ryan Show. That podcast is awesome. I've been listening to Sean Ryan nonstop recently. The one that really excited me is about Project Stargate recently with Joe McGonigal. Blows my mind, all right? Blows my mind. But anyway, Victor Marks, awesome dude. He's a preacher and also the fastest disarm in the world, so he can save you or kill you just like that, which is pretty funny. So Fold AR, again, 110%. Not sponsored by them. We don't carry their products. I've got a couple of theirs, as far as a lower and a couple of uppers go, but that's it. And again, 100% would recommend them. So thank you for bringing them up, J954. Appreciate that. Duster16, may you join the 2A Pro Discord group, GG2A Pro. Yeah, sure. Why not? Can I write it down, though? I have this handy-dandy little calendar that my fiance got me because my organizational skills sucked, and recently I fixed that. So I'm going to write this down, and sure, I'll join that Discord group. Why not? Because that sounds like a good time. Anything that's pro 2A and community and like-minded individuals coming together, it's probably a good idea, right? So I'll check that out. GG2A Pro. Appreciate it. Cool. All right. Anyway, and that's also good for me to go ahead and get that out and get ready, because I'm sure some good video ideas are going to be coming up as well. Okay. Let's get to a couple more of the super chats. I'm going to hop back into the live chat. Jake posts up, Clint, I watch your videos every day since I joined the 2A community last year and love the content. Helped me out a lot. Keep it up, bro. I'll give you 2 thumbs up. Fireworks. There they are. That is awesome, dude. Thank you, Jake, so much. I am glad that I've inspired you to get into the 2A community. And at the end of the day, support it, fight for it, right? It's one thing to go out and buy a gun. Now exercise that right. Get out there, make sure that you're looking up and voting for those local politicians that are actually pro-gun. Use that First Amendment to vocalize how important the Second Amendment is, right? So get out there and do it. And of course, go build a gun. Any thoughts on polymer builds? Alien Guy 16. I just ordered Plum Crazy Firearms Complete Lower and was wondering what might differ from my metal lower. Thanks. Just had this conversation, so I don't want to spend too much time on it for everybody that may have already heard that. But ultimately, the way I look at it is there a lot to be concerned with? Probably not. But at the end of the day, it's just something about me. Just something about me where I have a little bit of a trust issue, if you will, all right, about some of the polymer lowers out there. And I don't think it's so much the lower as it is maybe quality and other parts and components, like, for instance, polymer triggers that I just don't like either. I've seen a couple of broken ones. Don't like that. So if just the lower receiver is polymer, but everything else going into its metal, things like that I like. If you take a look at the reinforcement, anything that's got threads, if those are plastic or polymer, I'm going to have a problem with that. But if it's reinforced with metal, I'm cool with that. And I guess here's the problem I have with polymer lowers, right? That now it's starting to click. That exactly what I just talked about. If you look at the threads, like think about where the buffer tube is threading into the back of the lower receiver. Again, if those are polymer, it's very easy for that to weaken over time. It's very easy to cross-thread that. It's very easy for that to just ultimately become a piece of shit, right? Think about also how things are being retained, right? Again, if it's metal on plastic, what's going to give? The plastic. What's the firearm? The plastic. That's where I have issues with it within an AR. Some guns were designed from the ground up with that type of mentality, and it's been done very, very well for a long time, like the SCAR, like Glocks, and like so many others that have polymer frames and whatnot, right? I just don't know if it's perfect for ARs just yet, but let me know what you guys think. Maybe my thinking is a little too critical. Let me know what you guys think, okay? But thank you, Alien Guy. That's my thought process behind it there. Colonel Hubbard, have you ever milled your own AR lower? No. And if so, what material do you prefer? If I were to mill my own, just because I've met me and I know me, and I'm going to be like, I want the strongest thing, 70-75. And your preferred twist, right hand, left hand, 1-7, 1-8, 1-9. 1-8. I feel like it's a good, just right medium, right in the middle between if I want to shoot 55 grain, if I want to shoot 62 grain, 77 grain, yeah, 1/8 seems to be kind of like right there, right? But if you were to have something dedicated, then you would want to go for the best twist for that round, right? You don't want something lightweight and going too fast. You don't want something too heavy and not getting enough spin, right? So these are things to take into consideration when building, milling, and all that type of stuff. But no, I have not milled my own AR yet. Stay tuned, all right? Let's see here. Emmanuel Estevez Hernandez. Love you guys. Respect. Wish I can win that SP10 rifle. Just started in the business. Awesome. Best of luck to you, Emmanuel. Drop your business name here, man. We're all allies in the 2A community. We want to make sure that you get a shout out, man. So drop your name. We'll shout you out. And, like I said, I wish you the best of luck, and thank you so much for the support. 5-9, Minnesota Farmer, good to see you. Which manufacturer would you recommend for a fully integrated folding AR lower? Not an afterthought add-on. Alex Pro Firearms has worked great. I made one in SBR. Alex Pro, honestly, I don't think I can even think of another one off the top of my head. And to be quite frank with you, if you didn't even mention Alex Pro, I probably would have been like, who is it that does that? So thank you for mentioning Alex Pro. I don't think I would recommend anybody else. It's nothing that's coming off the top of my head anyway. So help us out, guys. 5-9. Not an afterthought add-on. Like the Sylvan Arms folding adapter, like the Law folder. I get it. I get what you're saying. I don't know. But when you're talking AR also, so I'm thinking direct impingement, right? So something with an integrated folder like that is not common, to say the least, right? Right. Okay. Eli Yek. Hey, Clint asked last week about an AR-15 in the 1500 range. Decided on the IWI Zion. Nice. Can't wait for it to come in and train with it. That's awesome, Eli. You're going to love it. Solid choice. I think the IWI Zion for that price range is one of the best. Right, so that's awesome. Unhealthy Salad. Mr. Magdup Morgan, will you give me a live bust your build? Send me some of the Morgan Wrath. Yeah, fuck it. Why not? DM me, Magdump Morgan, Instagram, and maybe I can show it to the screen here one way or another. I think we can check DMs on desktop now, right? On Instagram. I think this will be kind of fun. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let me check. And yeah, make sure you're sending it to my personal, Magdump_Morgan. I'll look for it if it pops up. All right, I'll keep an eye out for it. So I'm checking it. This will be pretty funny. By the way, I just want to shout everybody else here again. Over 3,600 viewers live right now. This is incredible. Thank you guys so much for stopping by and being here. You are all very, very awesome. Let's see. I'm looking. So just let me know when you send it. All right. Unhealthy Salad. Just let me know when you send it. All right. Okay. Last super chat. And Tanner, I'm reading your DM. I see that come through. That's funny. Last super chat, then I'm going to get over to the live chat. I will send my build to bust. Did my dream build ADM upper lower criterion barrel, etc. last year. Building gives you more bang for your buck. Agree? I do agree. And also it sounds like you built your dream rifle, and it's hard to buy your dream, right? So, but that's not necessarily true. You can buy something that you really, really want. That might be the gun of your dreams. But then there's this idea of actually building it to your exact want that's just completely different. And so if you're proud of it, that's all that matters. It doesn't matter how shitty of a rating Jason might give it, okay? But it's going to be hard to grade low a criterion barrel and ADM upper lower. Just throwing that out there, all right? So that ought to be pretty fun. Okay, getting over to the live chat over here. Unhealthy Salad, I have to request or I have to accept. Dude, so many of my DMs go to hidden requests, and I just don't even see it. Is this you? Are you Chewy? Is that it? I'm accepting. I don't know. You say you're making the build list? All right, let's see it. I'm waiting. And then I'll try to share my screen without sharing too much. That sounded weird because it's just my Instagram DMs, and there's a lot of spam on this because, again, it goes to the hidden requests. So there's a lot of weird things in here. Just throwing that out there. Anyway, let's get back on over. I'll keep an eye out for it. That is you. Awesome. Great. All right. I'm looking out for it, man. So everybody here will live bust Mr. Unhealthy Salad build, and we'll see how that goes. All right. Mr. Rick MW 1693, what do you think of upgrading the buffer spring to a silent capture spring from JP Enterprise? Look, I think I've used the JP Enterprise silent capture spring when I did like the really high-end build. It's cool, don't get me wrong, right? It does a neat thing. But at the end of the day, if you listen to my Mark 18, and this is where YouTube is stupid, right? I wish I could just pick it up and just rack it for you. I've got a lot of rounds through it, and I actually lubricate the spring itself and the buffer tube. Why? Because I don't like the twang that you get with an M16, M4 AR whenever you shoot, right? And a lot of the service rifles that, the Marines are issued, things like that, my guys are issued, you'll hear that every time they shoot, and then every time they lock it back. And then even on my M16, I'll do the same thing. I usually just take some ballistol and just lubricate the shit out of that bitch, and then rack it back and forth, shoot a couple of rounds, and now it's nice broken in, spring is nice and lubricated, and you just don't get that boing, right? It sounds like, Beavis and Butthead, boing, boing, boing. You know what I'm saying? So that, as far as a silent capture spring goes, unless you're really like serving a dedicated purpose to make the most silent gun ever, it's still going to be very difficult to silence the rest of the action. Still going to be very difficult to silence, I don't know, the gun going bang, right? Suppressors, they play a part. But if you're still shooting supersonic ammo and everything else, you're still going to be kind of loud anyway. So quite frankly, I like the idea of just lubricating your buffer spring and your buffer tube and just letting that bitch break in. And if you, like I said, if you listen to mine, it's very quiet. And I think they were pretty expensive. Master Micah Gaming, silent spring is unnecessary. That's what I think. I could do it off camera. That is absolutely true. But that would require me getting up and going to my safe and grabbing my Mark 18. And that's that. All right. And you're welcome. I don't have to draw a 25 today because I talked about the Mark 18. And so Shane Thomas says he loves the way the silent spring feels also. He thinks it feels better as well, right? So there you go. All right, so this is funny. Unhealthy Salad. It says unsupported message. I have to use the app in order to view the message. So I'm just going to have to turn my phone and show you guys, I guess. Let's see here. Or I could save the photo. I'll figure this out while we're talking so that way it's not just boring, okay? But anyway, so I'm going to pop on over. And I see that you're typing. Let's take a look. Okay, I'm going to hold my comments. I'm going to hold any expression that I have just so I can show the rest of the all of our viewers here tonight, all right? This is live, man. So I guess we'll see, okay? I'm going to save the build list really quick. Save the photos. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to airdrop them to my laptop so I can just share my screen here and show everybody. I think that'll work out pretty good. And I think what I need to do next time, if we're going to start doing some of this, I know obviously we need to save most of them for the actual Buster build. But since you asked, we're here. Why the hell not, right? And you'll resubmit the Buster builds to see if I don't disappoint Sir Jason and the rest of the crew. Jason might be watching. He oftentimes checks in anyway, so he might be watching. But let me go to my photos, and what I'll do is I'll go ahead and airdrop these to my Mac, and boop, and we'll get this going. This will be fun. All right, and everybody here, almost 4,000 of you are going to rate this man's build. Drop between 1 to 10 what you guys think when we pull it up here in just a moment, okay? And I think this is going to be pretty good. So every last one of y'all, 1 to 10, Unhealthy Salads build. Let's go ahead and let's see. I think I've got it. Here. All right, I'm going to open up each one. Oh, okay. Duh. There we go. All right, can I go like... Okay, I think this might work, guys. I think this might work. All right, this is going to be pretty fun. Let's do this. All right. Look at that, man. Brandy's already given you a 0, bro. Crunchy Taco, 10 cents says Josh, or $10 says Josh drops his 2 cents. If Jason gives you a 4, it's really an 8. All you got to do is just double what Jason gives you, and that's your real score. There you go. Makes absolute sense to me. And let's just go ahead and hop into it here. Let's see if I can go ahead and share what we've got, everybody. Shit, here we go. Bam. The browser can't access your screen. Are you freaking kidding me? All right, hold on. All right, we're almost there. Wait for it. I think it's because I had it like in full screen or whatever it is. Let's see if this works. Does this work? Where'd it go? Where the hell did it go? Oh, what is it doing? Use a different screen to see if it continues. You're being a bitch is what you're doing. All right. All right, I'll figure this out. But I will just throw it out there. From what I see at this moment, it looks pretty good, all right? Just throwing it out there. I might have some questions. Okay? Might have some questions, but it ain't bad. Oh, man. Clint trying to break it to you nicely. He sees it clear as day. Oh, there it is. Failure to launch. I know, guys. I know. All right. Let's see here. What? I thought technically I am a millennial. In fact, your boy's birthday is tomorrow, so happy birthday to me. And 1991. There you go, right? Mission failed. Yeah. All right. I don't know why it's not telling me I can't present. Share screen. Come on, StreamYard. What are you doing? Share. Okay, let's just share the whole screen. Will that make life easier? Let's see. I think that might make life easier. Let's try this. Share screen, entire screen, share. Yo, there it is. Perfect. Hell yeah. Bam. Look at our boys' unhealthy salad build. All right. So, all right, can I zoom this in one way or another here? There we go. Okay, all right, that works. Bam. Does that look oh god. Does that look pretty good to everybody? Everybody see that okay? There we go. All right. So, we've already got a couple of ratings coming in here. Very good. Let's go ahead and start getting into it here. So, the hello. I'm trying to click on the damn okay. All right. MCX TackOps. There we go. So the bottom one, we've got the EOTech EXPS3 2-dot with the Unity riser. Nice. G33 magnifier Unity mount. Rail scales, carved dragon skin, Gearhead Works tail hook, Polo 30 locked up. Still need to get Surefire Tober, Edgar Sherman, ESD sling, D-Ball A3. Magpul, Mbus Pro, BUIS. Again, we're going to go back to that TackOps. So that's that bottom one. Let me see if I can move that really quick here. Yeah, that's hot. I like that. Obviously, it's still a work in progress because what you're talking about is needing ultimately the whatever the hell I'm trying to say right now, the lights and stuff like that. But so far, I'm liking what I'm seeing. I'm definitely liking what I'm seeing. What else did you say you had on the TackOps? I got to be so gentle here. So, by the way, if you're going to go with a laser and whatnot, the D-Ball A3 over the PEC 15C or the Adipol C. The D-Ball A3 green laser too. That thing is like a freaking laser beam. I had to say it like that because you know why. But ultimately at the day, it's more like a lightsaber, especially out in the fog, whatever. That thing just goes. It's a lot of fun. And the A3 is a lot more powerful than the Adipol C. And on top of that, you can still turn it down. So that way it just doesn't completely blow out your night vision or anything like that. And the Adipol C also doesn't have... It doesn't have any adjustments on your IR illuminator. Thank you, Villain Weapon Systems fixes that, though, with ultimately a filter that fits over the IR illuminator. I've got one on mine. I haven't used it under night vision just yet, but I will let you know how that goes, possibly even tonight. You know, because why not? Okay. So far on Healthy Solid, I'm liking what I'm seeing. Since it's still a work in progress, I can't give you like a true score, but from what I'm seeing right here, and I know how heavy those TackOps can be. Just throwing that out there. And is it suppressed or is that like a faux can? I missed that. Let's see. TackOps. So I don't think that's a real can, right? You get a real can on that thing, and I'll give you a solid, with the way you're going for CQB and everything, I'll give you a solid 8.5, but since it's a faux can, I'm going to give you a 7, only because I know those things be blocky and heavy, all right, and still loud. So get that going. What's everybody else saying about the TackOps? What are we all saying about the TackOps? 8, 7, 9, 8, 8, 5, 8, 8, 6 from Bob. We've got 8 on both. Solid 8. There you go. Coming in with a solid 8. All right. Ronan Phoenix, 4 out of 10 due to jealousy. See, this is cool because this is a build, right? I mean, is this something that you built from the ground up, or is this just something that you're piecing together? Your AR, I think you said, is your actual build, right? So that's the one that we're going to be taking a look at next here. That's what we've got sitting right up top. So let's take a look at that, okay? So, okay, I do like the ADM receivers. Is that Geisley rail? That's what that is that Geisley rail, right? If I can, yeah, I think so. And that's the same rail I think I had on that high-end build that I put together. Liking to little Surefire muzzle device, 3-prong war comp, it looks like. Let's take a look here. Come back up. All right, MUR upper, superlative gas block, nice. Lantac gas tube, Surefire war comp, Criterion barrel, Geisley 13.5 rail. Yep, okay. EOTech Voodoo, BCM vertical grip, Lantac E bulk carrier group, Radian Raptor, and I messed up, BCG. Nice. All right. Dude, that I like that a lot, actually. The EOTech Voodoo is also a really solid optic. And also the mount that you have, that Burris pepper mount, I mean, it's pretty big and heavy, but at the end of the day, that's a solid mount. I've actually had a Burris pepper mount for years now, and I would recommend it. It's a solid mount. It does a really good job, but it is kind of heavy. But other than that, and I'm also just realizing I'm grabbing like the entire screen and not just the slider. But that's one of the, that's a BCM stock of some sort that I can't remember the designation for. But overall, I'm really liking how this one looks, man. This looks like a good solid build, dude. You get yourself a couple of cans. We'll be looking at some higher numbers here, but this one's definitely an 8 for me. I'm definitely liking, again, everything I'm seeing. It's hard to beat that 80M lower. The superlative gas block is nice. Lantac gas tube also, you said. Dude, it's sweet. It's sweet. Like I said, I feel good giving you a solid 8 on that. So good job, man. Monadic Munitions, 7.5 top, potential to be 8+. Yep, and an 8 for the TackOps. Of course, get some slings, man. Get some slings in there, right? Get some weapon lights in there. We need them. So there you go. Oh, no backup iron sights, Master Micah Gaming. -1 point. Budget Builder says 7. MCX looks like a nice one. There you go. Daniel over here with a 9. We got Digger Mike with a 10.5. Look at that. Bob saying we need some slings up in here. I feel you. I feel you on that. We've got Matt saying 7. 8 blows mine away. 9 from Jorge. Awesome. And that's quite the thumbnail you got there, Jorge. We've got Craig that said 8 blows mine away. And there you have it, dude. So, again, at the end of it all, man, solid builds. You definitely are on the track for making some really awesome stuff that I think you already know you're going to get some brownie points from Jason about the TackOps, all right? But, again, really solid builds, and you're seeing all of that. Hey, now, the Prone Ranger saying no sling but an $1,800 optic. I mean, you know, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying about that, but yeah, you know, but let the man have it, okay? Because he still has potential, and to be quite frank with you, he can still just pick up a sling anywhere. A sling, in my mind, like, okay, I can buy it. I can understand the thought process of I might not be able to find or purchase this $1,800 optic every day, but a sling, I mean, hell, let's be honest. If I had to, I could take a strap off of a laptop bag and make a semi-okay sling that I wouldn't trust with my life. But if I needed to go, you know, just have something to hang there, you could. Again, would not recommend, but, you know, better than nothing. I've seen Marines use paracord because, well, they forgot their issued sling, and, well, they got to learn their lesson, right? Paracord it is, and that is a thin piece of material that's digging in on one small part of the body because no surface area, and that sucks for them. So don't be that guy. But anyway, so there you have it. Thank you, dude. Appreciate that. And hopefully, I think this was a lot of fun also, because seeing this stuff and then also inspiring others perhaps. And then of course it's always good to do this. And I mean, hell, you guys see my builds right on the channel all the time, and they get picked apart by the internet. And, but at the end of the day, it's still fun. And of course it's what you want, right? So there you have it. Appreciate it again. And, let's, come back on over here, except now there we go. Macs are funny sometimes because the little bar at the bottom was hiding everything I needed to see to go back to full screen here. There you go. Let's see here. Digger Mike's wanting to know what's your thoughts on a 2-point sling. I actually prefer 2-point slings, most of the time. I've shouted out so many times Tech 10. I am a fan of the Tech 10 slings and all that, but I am also a really big fan of like the McLean core sling because it has this administrative carry mode. So that way it's not just a single point that's just hitting you in the dick or on your knees or whatever else when you're just walking along. It allows you to kind of clip it up nice and tight to the body. And then when you need to get into action, you just pull a tab and it breaks free and you're able to go and start doing work, right? So both individuals that designed the slings, Paul over at Tech 10, Neil with McLean Core, love them both. But if I'm going to be having something that I want more distance with, that I'm going to be, doing a lot more patrolling with per se, I'm going to go by way of the 2-point. If I'm going to be doing something a little bit more CQB, stuff like that, things where I might need to be using my hands more, then I'm going to go with the single point, especially McLean sling with the McLean Core administrative carry, the 2-point retention, which is really, really cool. So that is what I am a big fan of. Also, Prone Ranger is saying he's also just jealous of your build, Unhealthy Salad. So glad you submitted it, man. Hopefully the guys and everybody here didn't run you off. So there you go. Troy Smith is wanting to know what my dream AR-10 setup is. And right now, it's still a LMT Mars H battle rifle. I just really want one of those. I also, after spending a couple of days with Q, right now, my dream also is the boombox in 8.6, which is ultimately the Honey Badger on steroids. And even Kevin himself said it. The boombox makes the Honey Badger obsolete. And it's pretty incredible what they did with this gun. And I got to meet Mitch, and I got to meet a lot of the engineers that Kevin has with Q, obviously, and everybody on the floor. And guys, it's honestly mind-blowing. You see Kevin on social media and everybody might think, they might gain assumptions of somebody or think they might know somebody or can call them for what they are just based off of the internet. And by the way, Unhealthy Salad, you're welcome, bro. That was a lot of fun. But there's something I got to tell you guys that really just inspired me about Kevin is the fact that he inspires his employees to innovate. Like, do it. Does it cost more money? Whatever. Let's figure it out because they want to make literally the best product. And the pride that they put in their stuff, the trust, everything that they put into it is just there. It's evident. And it's just cool watching their minds just go to work and becoming even part of some of the testing process. Mitch comes out and he's, got a rail and he's like, all right, pull this, try to make this come apart. He's on one end of an upper, I'm on the rail and we can't get it to come apart. And he's like, yeah, it's not even installed yet. All I did was just use this pin. I don't know. I didn't even understand what his engineer brain was thinking, but I was like, that's cool. And so all of that was just really neat to experience. And the boombox chambered in 8.6, it's impressive. It's taken SR25 mags and all that type of fun stuff. And it's reaching way beyond the distances that 300 Blackout is capable. And it's just, it's exciting. So stay tuned because those videos are coming soon. All right. Okay. So let's get back on over to some of the super chats that are here. I know I missed a few of them. We got to Mr. Stu Pedasso. I will send my build to bust. Did my upper lower criterion last year. Building gives you more bang for your buck. Agree. Yep, we agreed to that. Big Daddy Swish is concealed carry insurance worth the price? If so, what company would you say is the better? I honestly don't know which one is the best or the one to trust. Is it worth it? I don't know. I honestly don't know. I think what I can do actually is talk to a couple of my friends over at Gun Owners of America and just be like, out of all the cases that you guys see and all the cases that you have seen where there's been a law-abiding citizen with a lawfully owned firearm, a lawfully owned legal firearm used in a defensive situation, what type of a mess does that individual get in? And have you seen concealed carry insurance companies come up to bat and actually help pay for lawyer fees and stuff like that? That's going to be a solid question, I think, to present to that organization because, well, they see it. You know what I mean? So I honestly don't know. I don't know who to trust in that market. A lot of them, if you ask me, seem like they're probably just money-making schemes and gimmicks. And when it comes down to it, they won't be there to support you. Like, oh, well, what am I paying for? We're paying for you to get your gun back or something. But what about my court fees? I don't know. Because they're probably all thinking, well, if it was a good shoot, then you don't have anything to worry about. So what's the risk in it for them? You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't know if I trust it or not. So that's something that I would have to do the research in before I gave any type of recommendation. But thank you for the super chat. Appreciate it. Ronan Phoenix, off topic. However, there are two things I know for sure. Walther is king and Jason is a legend. I won't disagree with that. Walther makes some great stuff. That is all I had. You may resume your stream now. Well, cheers. Thank you. By the way, my sobriety for the month of March is going very well. Yes, it is the same month of the State of the Union. That was hard. St. Patrick's Day being yesterday. That was hard. My birthday being tomorrow. That's not as hard. But all in all, yeah, it's actually going a lot easier than I thought it would, so which is pretty cool. But let's continue on. Travis Wilson, rate mine as well. All right, I don't want to turn tonight into just a bunch of, I feel like on OnlyFans people are rating other things, but here on Classic Firearms, we rate your guns. So I don't want to turn this into an entire rate fest, but that doesn't mean I can't perhaps do a live stream dedicated to rating because, look, I've got the email, guys. I got the email, and I'll open it right now, and I'll show you. And just even tonight, I guarantee we probably got more. I had to turn off my notifications. I'm pulling up bustyourbuilds@gmail.com, and yes, we've gotten 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 just today. But when I scroll, I kid you not here, right? That's the Bust Your Builds email. All right, we'll get to them eventually. But I'm just gonna throw it out there. It's gonna take a while, but we've got enough content and material to go on forever. So we're happy about that. All right, but thank you, Tao. Unhealthy Salad, for submitting yours, and save this, Travis, and everybody else that might want to send in theirs and whatnot. Save it, because I could turn this into a live stream, maybe with the guys next time we're all together, and we just do a live Bust My Build, right? I think that would be pretty fun. Stay tuned for that. In fact, it might be a good idea just to make an Instagram that's just Bust Your Builds. We don't post anything, but that's just where you DM us, and that would be easy to keep up with. You know what I mean? That, I don't know. I have ideas. Are they good ideas? Probably not, but that's why we have a team that tells me when I have bad ideas. Let's see here. Curling, what's up? Thank you for stopping by. Any rough estimate on the Canik TTI inventory within the next couple of months? Or Q4. Sorry. I think Adam said Q4 is when we can expect them. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure that's what Adam said. Joe, what do you use to clean and lube your ARs? I actually use a couple of different ones. Cleanse oil is one of them, and I was actually just at a class yesterday, and that's in my ammo can because I just keep a spray bottle of cleanse oil nearby. And also gun butter. I've got that sitting right on my shelf right over there. Gun butter's great. That stuff just always seems to work really well. I've noticed I've had great success with it. Great success. And so, yeah, I use gun butter, cleanse oil, and Ballistol was another one that I used to use all the time, but Ballistol is rough. I pretty much have to be outside in order to use Ballistol. Because it stinks up the whole house, and you're not supposed to be under the influence of any drugs when operating firearms. So, anyway, are there any others that I might use? Those are the big three, I think: gun butter, cleanse oil, and Ballistol. Yeah. So there you have it. That's what I like to use. Justin Howe, good to see you, Justin. Your name sounds familiar. Justin Howe. We know each other, don't we? Will you rate my Mark 18? I do like Mark 18s. You can send it. You can DM it to me, magdump_Morgan. But probably not anymore tonight, all right? Because these can take a while. But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't hold on to it. Submit it either to bustyourbuilds@gmail.com or save it for the next time we go live. And like I said, maybe I'll have a dedicated live stream Bust Your Builds. Would be pretty fun. stay tuned, because now after seeing tonight and getting everybody involved, it's cool when it's, me, Jason, Aaron, Kaya, Matt, Ryan, whoever gets involved and busts your builds. But when it's like everybody watching, that shit is fun. So I think you guys enjoy it too, right? So there you have it. Stay tuned though. Jay Ritzy just picked me up a Silencer Co Omega 300 last week, applied Friday the 8th, and got it approved the 13th. Y'all, these approvals coming back is awesome. You know what I'm saying? It sucks that we have to have an approval process at all, but if we're gonna have one, it might as well be damn efficient, right? So that is great that we've got that. And it's funny because right underneath Jay Ritzy is our buddy Unhealthy Salad saying that he's got an Otter Creek Polo 30 in jail. When did it go in jail? Was it today? Because it might be free tomorrow or the next day, right? So it's cool. And according to the ATF and Silencer Co. or Silencer Shop, Silencer Co. or Silencer Shop. Sorry, guys, I don't remember who put this out on Instagram. This is the norm. The ATF apparently wants these faster approval processes, which cool, because like I said, if we're paying already an additional $200 tax on top of the cost of the product, on top of the most likely the sales tax that you had to pay, we might as well go ahead and get some sort of service for our taxes that we're paying. And so that if that's an expedited approval process for our forms that we're submitting, then yeah, cool. I'm glad we're getting that, even though it shouldn't freaking exist, but whatever. So, Synthetic Evil 13, I recently put a BCA 50 Beowulf on my IWI Zion 15 lower, and I love it. Runs like a beast. What are your opinions on the 50 Beowulf? We've shot the 50 Beowulf. I think it's cool. I think it's a big freaking round to shoot out of your AR. But at the end of it all, the one that I shot was years ago. I think it was an Alexander Arms, 50 Beowulf pistol with like an SBA 3. That sucked. There wasn't a lot of support there with the SBA 3 brace, just throwing that out there, but it was pretty freaking cool to say say that. I think it's neat. It definitely serves a purpose if you need to do a lot of damage in close proximity, but probably not the most economical or practical round to use most of the time. Oh my goodness. So Synthetic 13 or Synthetic Evil 13, appreciate it. Gio, happy birthday, brother. Hope you have a blessed one. Thank you. I appreciate that. My fiance, I think she's got like some cool stuff lined up for me. I think she said she's got like a massage booked for me. That's pretty cool, guys. If she won't give you a massage, maybe she'll book somebody to give you a massage. I don't know, but at the end of it all, I'm pretty excited about it. So thanks, honey. So yeah, that's great. Thanks, Gio. Appreciate it. Tanner, thank you as well. And believe me, I do wish I was getting myself a Porsche. I am actually a Porsche guy. I've owned a couple of them. Never built one though. Right? Build versus buy here. That's what the discussion is tonight. And a lot of people say that they don't assemble their cars, they build their cars. And that would be a fun project, finding like an old 356, you know what I mean? The OG Porsche. That'd be kind of fun. Maybe. But instead of doing that, I might just buy myself a bootleg adjustable bolt carrier group, because I want to see how it performs and whether or not it's a gimmick. Oh, man. Mario, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate it. Travis, sent in mine weeks ago, so hopefully y'all get it. Also, happy birthday, dude. Thank you. Appreciate it again. Thank you, everybody, for the wishes. And that's awesome, Travis. I'm sure we will get around to it eventually. Just be patient with us, all right? So there we go. Let's see here. Yeah, most ranges also don't like 50 cal, so there's that. Noah Graham, do you have any experience with Bear Creek Arsenal? Also, budget kits, any recommendations? I've got some experience with Bear Creek Arsenal and some of their barrels. I've used some of their barrels in different builds, and they always did fine. Obviously, they're a little bit more budget friendly, but at the end of it all, I haven't had any issues. So, yeah, that's how I feel about that. Stober Steve, my dad built a Lotus 7 from the ground up. That's freaking cool. And yeah, John B brings up a good point about doing the video on the insurance companies about like the concealed carry insurance, things like that. I mean, it's a good idea. See, what I need to do is find cases, and see, that would be great for some of these concealed carry insurance companies. Like, all you got to do is release like what, because a lot of the court information is public information after the court's closed or after the case is closed. Release the docs. Show us that you helped in some sort of way. You know what I mean? I think that would probably be a good idea. So let's see here. Let's get over to a couple of more. Steve Whoop, good to see you. 92 FS better than both. What are we talking about? Are we talking about Keep 2, Drop 1, SIG, TackOps 300 Blackout, Radiant Mod 1, SIG Spear 308. Keep 2, Drop 1. I feel like I would probably go SIG TackOps and Spear 308, only because then I would have something for close range and for something for everything else. You know what I mean? I'm assigning jobs. And then if I also feel like I could get the Radiant Mod 1 to do kind of everything else in the middle, like exactly how you have it set up there. And not to be just like, Team SIG over here, but the Radiant is freaking badass. But yeah, I'd probably go with the TackOps and the Spear, so that way I've got CQB and, like I said, everything else. And CQB with 300 Blackout depends on what your, I guess, your average distance is, because if your medium engagement is out to 400 yards, then CQB could be anything within 100 yards, and I feel confident that 300 Blackout will do just fine within that distance. Subsonic, maybe a different story, but think about the ammunition you use. And like I said, everything else for 308, easy day, right? So there you go. But of course, weight is another thing. But there you have it. Let's see here. I know I'm definitely missing some of the some conversation over here about pistols, because I see somebody else talking about. So Steve Whip's talking about the double stack. Prone Ranger's talking about the M45A1, which is badass, by the way. And then we've got Steve Whip saying 92 FS is better than both. And I'm just over here trying to figure it all out. What are we talking about? Oh, here it is. Thoughts on the Springfield Echelon versus Glock. Okay. Glock is known for their reliability. The Springfield Echelon is known now for its modularity and, honestly, better ergonomics, better trigger, better everything for the most part, except for the extended mag base plate popping off on Kaya like it did. That shit was so funny. The Echelon, I think, is definitely a great pistol. But there is something to be said about Glock and its renowned reputation as far as just being reliable. It's just a damn good gun, depending on what you get, right? Like the Glock 45, I think, is probably my favorite Glock. It's just ultimately a 19 slide and barrel assembly, or barrel and slide assembly with a 17 frame. I just love the way it feels in hand. So there you go. And honestly, the M45A1 is also personally one of my favorites. There's just something about that that's just so badass. Limited magazine capacity, being single stack and all that, blah, blah, blah. But there's just a cool factor, okay? There is a cool factor. Let's see here. We've got Mason Clark. Do you say build or buy? Next AR only have a 16-inch. Okay. So if I were in your shoes, I would be looking at a home defense gun. Okay. Mason, now I don't know your age. I don't know what else you own. You might just be talking specifically about ARs. The other thing that goes into my mind is, if you don't have an everyday carry, conceal carry pistol, I would get something that does a really good role of both being like a conceal carry gun and also something you could probably use as a home defense gun. And of course, my mind goes to like my 365X macro. I've got 17 rounds in the mag, still compact enough to conceal carry, but still enough ammunition also to keep kind of like comfortable in a home defense situation. You know what I'm saying? And big enough to, house a red dot and a light, but also still maintain the option and comfortability and comfortably be able to conceal carry all of that. You know what I'm saying? Okay, but if you're talking specifically about an AR, I would go with probably a shorty something for home defense. I just like having my go-to home defense gun, and mine's going to be a short 300 Blackout. And that's what I would say. And you can choose to build or buy that. But keep in mind, you want to make sure that if it's something you build, it's at the end of the day something that you can trust with your life. If you're not confident in your abilities and would trust maybe a legitimate manufacturer with that, then that's okay. You can still build one and get used to that and get to that point, right? So completely up to you. But I would say go the route of home defense. And I would most likely lean towards buying a home defense 300 blackout pistol, SBR, something along those lines. And a silencer. I know the bill's getting, it's getting deep, right? But there you have it. Or sell the 16-inch, buy the shorty, and then build another 16-inch. There's things you could do. So there you have at it. Let's see here. Got a couple more. How long have we been going? Only about an hour 20. We can keep on going here. Let's get over to Joe Spinelli. Hey, Clint, I have a BCM 11.5. Nice. Could I make that into a do-everything rifle, or should I get a 14.5 16-inch also? 11.5 is a great barrel length. 12.5 is also a great barrel length. So is 14.5. So is 13.9, right? All these different barrel lengths have an advantage. Obviously, the advantage over a longer barrel, as we all know, I'm probably preaching to the choir here, is you get a higher velocity, which is ultimately, for a 5.56 gun, that is what makes that cartridge so effective, right? Velocity. And of course, the shorter the barrel, you lose the effectiveness, if you will, of the 5.56 cartridge, but you also gain maneuverability, right? If we're talking COD stats here, you get what I'm saying. So with all that, you could easily make that BCM 11.5 a do everything, especially throw a can on it, all that. I mean, dude, you've got yourself a great one there. 14.5 would be even better. Why? Because of that velocity and all that I've talked about. So there you go. 16-inch, there's also nothing wrong with a 16-inch gun. 14.5, you have to play with that pin and weld game to be legal, you have to. Stupid gun laws. But I think you'd be pretty well. And, oh, God, I didn't even think about talking about your situation. Me, I probably wouldn't be all right with 11.5 for most of where I'm traveling because it's kind of open area, stuff like that, right? I mean, 11.5 would be fine. But for some people, it just depends on where you're at. Cities, things like that, you probably want something a little bit more compact, something a little bit more low vis, so maybe even a 10.3, right? Maybe an 8-inch 300 blackout would be preferable. For something that's more like a truck gun or something. So your do everything, it really just depends on your environment at the end of the day. So take that into consideration, because that's also going to play into part what your optics are, what your sling setup might look like, what everything else might look like, right? But a do everything, I'd feel pretty comfortable with 11.5, but I wouldn't go any shorter than that. I'd say that's your limit. That's your limit. Okay. Agree or disagree, comment section, light it up, let me know. With that, too, we've got a couple more super chats I want to get through as well. Thank you guys for stopping in and supporting the channel and everything. Appreciate that, all right? Let's see here. Mario is asking, good to see you, Mario. What is your opinion on the Smith & Wesson M&P AR-15? You seem to keep it on your top list in some videos I've seen. For the price, honestly, it's pretty sweet. I mean, you're talking, like a sub $700 gun that's going to get you a reliable AR-15. It's not something I would take into combat, right? You hear people say stuff like that. But just to offer a little bit of insight, the police department that I used to work at, the issued AR-15 to the officers, and it was up to them for their optics and stuff like that, from my understanding. But the issued AR to them was a Smith & Wesson M&P sport rifle. Nothing fancy whatsoever. No forward assist, no dust cover, which, if you ask Q, it's unnecessary anyway. But there is nothing fancy about that gun. But that's what they were issued, and you're talking about, a lot of rich people with drugs in that area. But I don't think there's anything wrong with the M&P AR-15. The sport models, they leave a little bit to be desired. But at the end of it all, they're base rifles that are going to go bang when you pull the trigger, and that's pretty much all you can expect, right? So, yeah, there you have it. Great. Continuing on, I hope that answers your question, Mario. T-Rex52, good to see you again. I built again, I built again and again. I have a problem. You don't have a problem. You have a hobby. And that hobby happens to be protected by our Constitution. So get out there and build again, sir. Build again. God, I love it. Travis Wilson, good to see you. Also, bootlegs are legit. I run them in all my rifles. Work amazing. Have nearly 2,000 rounds on one, and tolerances are Gucci. Good to know, because I'm going to be picking one up from my local gun shop. He told me he got some in, and he's got them to the side there. So, Rob, if you're watching, thanks, dude. And I am excited. I haven't figured out which gun I'm going to throw it in. So the fold ARs used to come with the bootlegs, but now they come with just a good quality BCG mil spec. I might throw it back into a fold AR and try it. Might try it and even like my Mark 18 just to see, because you guys already know it's a gassy sumbitch, right? So it might be nice to try to tune that and see. I don't know. Then again, my Mark 18 just runs, so it's like, why screw with it, right? It does a damn good job at what it does. So I don't know. I got a couple others I might play with. We'll see. We'll see. So thank you, Travis. Appreciate it. J954, in my opinion, suppress 10mm Banshee, anything 300 blackout for close quarters. Ooh. That would be a fun video. That would be a really fun video. I do like shooting 10mm suppressed. Big fan of that. I also like shooting 300 blackout suppressed. That would be a lot of fun. Guys, let me know what you think about this. J954 brings up a great point about 10mm versus 300 blackout when it comes to close quarters. I feel like, depending on the operating system, you know, the 10mm Banshee, is going to have that radial delayed, right? So recoil on that still, because it ultimately is still a blowback design, I still think the better write that down. This guy gets me. I still feel like the recoil on the 10mm might be a bit more than the 300 blackout, especially if you're shooting 300 blackout subs, right? And so faster follow-up shots on target, 10mm versus 300 blackout. That's a good idea. Nice. I don't know. That one's a good one. I think that would be a lot of fun. And also, we need to test the capabilities of each. And we would want to go legit, like what I would use for home defense, right? Some solid hollow points. And for 300 blackout, subs, hollow point subs would probably be pretty sweet, right? I mean, that sounds pretty solid if you ask me. I think that'd be pretty good. So, yeah. Yeah, that would be good. That'd be real good. 300 wins until you go sub. Interesting. Yeah. Let's see. Bass Rutten pinning a 13.9 with that muzzle device. Do it. Send that shit. Let's see here. Gilly Shooter, LOL. I wish my truck was paid off so I can get more 2A in my life. What was Gilly Shooter saying? I'm looking. Crunchy Taco, my car payment was finished and I never do diddly shit, so there's no cash sync. Now I have a truck payment, though. Oh, goodness. Uh-oh. Rumble went down, somebody said. Shit, no Rumble. I think, who said that? Where is that? I don't know. I still see it playing on my screen, so that's good. But that doesn't mean it won't go down. But I am glad you mentioned Rumble, though, because here I am looking at it now, and I see Professor Blake Poo-Ass Blaster 3000 is in the chat. Hey, Clint, I found a Radian Mod 1 chassis set. Comes with a complete lower and upper, also with charging handle and bulk carry, all for $1,300. Is that a good way to go for a build? Well, it sounds like it's mostly assembled already. Where'd you find it? Asking for me, not asking for a friend. I think that would be a pretty solid way to go. Also, happy birthday. Make sure to get a massage. Oh, God. What the? Oh, Jesus. Appreciate it. Thank you, Professor Blake Pooh Ass Blaster. 3000. AK Ted, best can for Tavor 7 and a Fostech 300 Blackout pistol. Something flow through. I will say this about the Tavors is they're gassy when you suppress them. So something that's a reduced back pressure like the Flow 762 by Huxworks or something along those lines, I think you'll find great success. Surprised I didn't get the... There it is. Okay. So there you have that. All right. Thank you guys. Appreciate those super chats over there on Rumble. And let's get back on over here. Tanner, Hornady 190 grain is the best. Spendy, though, I believe that. And some of y'all crazy over here in the freaking chat, man. Let's see here. Frank Bufferton, what do I think of the Frank Proctor sling? I don't know the Frank Proctor sling. Or is it one of those where, like, if I saw it, I'd be like, oh, yeah, I totally recognize that? Not sure. Double tube fan, double lube tube fan 5. 10mm Crisp Vector. 10mm Crisp Vectors are pretty cool. Crisp Vectors, initially I think were very overrated. Thankfully in the final or the later generations, they've gotten more ergonomic and a little bit better. For instance, like the placement of the safety, you'd flip it down to fire and then you start pulling the trigger and it would just rub a hole right into my knuckle, like right in here when I'd pull the trigger on the Vector. By the way, that's a blood blister from putting a honey badger back together. Instead of going top down, I went to the side and it got me like a dumbass. But what are you going to do? Let's see here. There we go. Yeah, Secret Squirrel. Hornady makes great 190 grain subsonic expanding projectiles. That sounds like the way to go versus that 10 mil. And Matt's probably at home. I'm just saying. He's probably at home with his family. It's 8:30. He's definitely hanging out with them, which is where I'll be here soon. Redskin Faithful 14.5 at Rickest Rick. What was Rickest? Oh, okay. Rick's question. MCK conversion kit only for Glock. 14.5. No. They make one for SIG and Smith & Wesson now. Do they not? Or am I thinking of something else? I'm pretty sure they do, though. Let's see here. Secret Squirrel also, happy birthday. Thank you. Appreciate it. Just built another AR9 for my birthday this month. Nice. Gotta love that, right? That is awesome, guys. Let's see here. I still am pretty, I keep thinking about this from J954. Again, thank you for the super chat, and I like that it was $2.23. I see what you did there. 10mm Banshee against anything, over anything, 300 blackout for CQB. I think Jason might have some words for that. I think he might have something to say about that. So, stay tuned. I think that'll be a good one. We have done, Tim, we've talked about, we've covered 300 blackouts so much and why 7.62 by 35 seem to be more of the ideal cartridge than 7.62 by 39, and a lot of it has to do not so much with ballistics, but but so much for it to actually feed reliably in a standard AR mag through a straight walled mag well, right? So keep that in mind. 7.62 by 39 is awesome, but that's why you have such a curved mag. Okay, 7.62 by 35 being 300 blackout. It feeds more reliably, which is what was the demand, what was specified in the contract, or whatever I'm trying to say. But ultimately, that's what the government wanted was, hey, we don't want any more. We don't want a complete build. We don't want a complete redo of a gun. We just want to be able to CQB better utilizing what we have now. Okay, here's an upper. Here's a mag, or not even a mag. Here's an upper. Use the mags you got, but load them with this round. Don't get them confused or else you'll have a bad day. Bam. And also, Bass Rutten says you'll get less blowback with the 30 cal can on a 5.56. I mean, that's true too. Changing gears. But yes, that is true. You will get less blowback, but you won't get as good performance with what the can is supposed to do. Sound and flash suppression, right? So there's give and take, pros and cons to just about everything. Dedicated 5.56 cans, I love, because you just get better performance, better flash reduction, better sound reduction. But Bass is right. You technically will get less blowback with a 30 cal can when shooting 5.56 to it because, well, there's a larger diameter opening that's allowing for that gas to pass through. Makes sense, right? But also, you'll still get, depending on the can, it can still get pretty gassy. My Mark 18 that had the Yankee Hill titanium 30 cal can, it got pretty damn gassy. So, there you go. Unhealthy Hands is over here talking about throwing hands. Not sure what that's about, so obviously I missed that in there. But now we're threatening violence, so defend your builds. That's all I can assume that you're talking about. Let's see here. Derek Kittle, thoughts on 11.5 LMT over SIG Spear LT 11.5. Depends. One's DI, one's piston. Well, I mean, I get, okay, so it depends. There's different, LMT makes different ones. SIG is only, well, SIG also makes DI guns, but I assume, obviously, the Spear LT is being piston, duh. But LMT has a whole host of, I think they make an 11.5 in both piston and DI, so are you wanting to go piston or DI? With that, I do prefer the Mars controls over the LT controls. And thank you, Deadman Talking. Still got me on Rumble via Roku and iPhone. That's awesome. Good. With that, look, again, I've got a lot of experience, or a lot of rounds downrange now with the Spear LT. I'm probably going to go LMT just because it's more of a unicorn for me. And that's that, whether it's piston or DI. So that is kind of a bias, I guess you could say. But if I had to, if I knew I was going to war and I was going to grab one or the other, I feel like I would probably trust the SIG a little bit more because I have more experience with it. You know what I mean? Isn't that funny? So I really want the LMT. I'm leaning towards the LMT. Okay, great. Jessica Sim 44, good to see you again, man. Happy birthday. I think you have the same birthday as Jessica Simpson's cute little blonde named Birdie. You and your obsession with Jessica Simpson is hilarious. I'm glad you're here, though, and supporting the 2A. Good to see you, man. Thank you so much. We all just have a severe case of gun addiction. That is true, Raven. We absolutely do, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that, all right? Monadnock Shootist, definitely not. Geo, what are we talking about? I don't know. By the nature of it being a larger bore, it can suppress the sound that, well, it can't. Maybe comparable to a Flow 556K, but a dedicated full-length 556 can will always perform better. Yes. Using context clues, I see what we're talking about here. Stuff that I learned in elementary school. And yes, I agree with Monadnock Shootist over here. So that's great. Awesome. Let's see here. Thoughts on, Luke is wanting to know my thoughts on the Geisley Super Duty 14.5. I feel like it's not talked about that much. The Geisleys, when the Geisleys first came out, I loved them. I really liked that they put the Surefire war comps on them and everything. And now they're not putting the war comps on them and they're still pin and weld. That's like a pain in the ass because at least before you had a suppressor host that you could, a Surefire suppressor could go on, right? That's great. Now you don't have anything. So it's like, what the hell, Geisley? Why would you do that? Cost, right? Naturally. So it goes. At the end of it all, Geisley makes a great gun. And, for the price point, I feel like there's probably things you could do better. But I do feel like the Geisley is a really good gun. And I'm not going to hate on it. I'll throw that out there. Are there stronger rails? Yes, there are. But let's be real. Most of us that are out here shooting on as often as we're shooting and doing what we're doing with our rifles, probably not that big of a deal that, Bendy Bill has anything to do with the rail. You know what I'm saying? But no, they're strong and they do what they got to do for most of us. Great. By the way, we're now over 5,000 viewers. I am seriously curious as to why the sudden influx in all of the viewers. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Appreciate every last one of y'all for being here and, starting your week out with me. It's awesome. And I have a really good time talking with all of y'all. Let's hop on over really quick. I had a couple more super chats come on through, so I don't want to miss out on those guys. We've got Paulie over here wanting to know which 300 blackout, Sig MCX Rattler or the CMMG Banshee. Man, for the price, the Banshee, but for the cool factor, the Rattler LT is pretty damn badass. But economically, the Banshee just makes more sense. Let's see here. Tanner, for my DD11.5, I'm getting, other than grip and stock, what else do you recommend changing? I'll be running an RC2 on it. Nice. Thumbs up from the software. Okay. What do you want to do with this gun? Because I feel like this would be a really cool gun to turn into like a night vision only gun, you know what I mean? Or like a heavy night vision gun and building that bitch out to be pretty spicy, you know what I mean? Talking IR lasers and maybe not even have a white light. Like just go heavy nods with it. Have like an IR illuminator that is your offset light. Or actually Surefire makes a dual head that is not only a white light but also an integrated infrared light. You just rotate the I think you just rotate the head of the light, methinks, and that would be cool. I'm just saying. And if you're going to do that, Driven Arms Co. makes the dangler, so you can use the mod switches or the mod buttons, one on top, one at an angle, which is super cool. Love that setup. So I'm just saying, you got options. And that's one of them. Let me know what you think about that. Brian Hamstra, good to see you. AR-10, Mark 12 build or MCX Spear. Already own 2 MCXs, but no 308s. Okay. I was immediately going to say Mark 12 build because there's a well-built, well-tuned Mark 12 is hard to beat as far as just the pleasure of shooting, right? It's like a 22, but for men. That's because it is, right? So, but then you said you don't have a 308, but you own 2 MCXs. I'm assuming the MCXs aren't identical. If they are, just sell one, right? I would then go build the AR-10, buy the Spear. If you're to choose one type of thing, the Spear, let's be honest, it's a damn good 308 rifle. The controls on it are good. The ambi bolt release can be a little sticky, but it's a really good rifle. Heavy and the rail's kind of bulky, but it's a really good rifle. Now, the MCX Spear is heavier and will be heavier than most of your AR-10s out there because the inherent nature of the operating system being short stroke piston driven versus DI. Are you looking to suppress either one of these guns? If you are, then having the adjustable gas block of the MCX Spear is an advantage. Finding an AR-10 that has an adjustable gas block is also an advantage. Right? So that one's hard for me. That one's really hard for me. But because you don't have a 308 already, I'll go ahead and just sacrifice the Mark 12 and say you either have to go AR-10 or MCX Spear. Personally, if you just want to buy one and you don't want to build, buy the MCX Spear. Build with time the AR-10 and build a sexy ass rifle. That's my final answer. Thank you. Oh man. Mark 18, Dre, dude. All right, so Mark 18 versus Spear LT 300 Blackout. Like the Mark 18 is cool. I love the Mark 18, but there's no denying that in close quarters, room clearing, home defense, 300 Blackout is superior. If that is your intention, I would go with the Spear LT 300 Blackout. The Spear LT Rattler is also super freaking cool, but it's just a short guy, right? The Spear LT being the Spear LT 300 Blackout, 9-inch, I think, versus like a 5, or is it 6? I think it's a 6 3/4 inch for the new Spear LT Rattler, and 9-inch for the Spear 300 Blackout. Either way, 300 Blackout. I got to say it. And then JC is also saying the Spear, go with the Spear, who is asking about either the AR-10 or so. Brian, 1 TackOps on Rattler Light and a 11.5 MCX. Yes, suppressed. Yeah, so you got two different guns. That's good at least. So yeah, I would say the Spear then probably. So there you go. Just keep it all in the SIG family, right? Oh man. Let's see here. PSR song for nods. I freaking love print shoot repeat, man. The Prone Ranger, why have guns when you can hunt with spears? Yep. I just feel like bullets do a better job than I would with a spear. You know what I'm saying? But also, that doesn't mean I wouldn't try and have a gun close by for backup. All right, cool. So, continuing on over here, Aaron's voice, 9 inches. Yeah, I can hear him too. Oh my God. Nods are gay, though, according to Boinkin. Nods are cool as shit. Like, or in my case, nod. 1. Because it's got dog hair on it. Gross. PVS 14. Right? AGM. They make decent stuff. There you go. Yeah. Just 1. They are a lot of fun. You know, they help you see in the dark, which is pretty cool. So there you have it. Oh, man. I'm going to start winding down here, guys. It's been an hour 45 already, and it's always great talking with y'all. I just want to let y'all know that. Appreciate every last one of you guys still tuning in, too. Over 5,200 viewers, which is awesome. Appreciate every last one of y'all. Seriously, thank you. And let's see here. Brian, we got that one already. Tanner at Monadnock, I was thinking of all these things you mentioned. I was stuck between just a T2 or EOTech magnifier. Love B5, 100 to 150 yards max. Tanner, you and I were talking about this earlier about magnifying a red dot, right? Do I have a T2 sitting over here? I don't. Damn it. It's probably on a gun now. I personally don't like magnifying red dots. It's just, there's something about me that just doesn't like it. They're fine, obviously, for positively identifying a target at distance, obviously, right? Totally get that. But a red dot to me just wasn't designed to be magnified. Holographics, however, yes, absolutely. So much so that when you magnify a holographic, the reticle actually gets clearer. It gets more crisp. It's better. A red dot actually, in my experience, distorts it a little bit more. You kind of have to play with the you got to play with the brightness. You got to play with a little bit more of the parallax than you would want to. Probably not much more than you would actually a holographic, but and maybe I just need to try it again and just get out of my head about it. But I feel like the last time I tried it, I just had more distortion coming from a red dot. And I was like, well, I can't get a precise shot off with this. And it's not like I can get a terribly precise shot off with a holographic either under magnification, because that's not what it's designed for. But I can get out to I guess you could say, a little bit more accurate shot than I could with a red dot. Again, if you look at the two under magnification, a high quality red dot, a high quality holographic, I think you'll see what I'm talking about with similar brightness levels. I think you'll see that the holographic is much more clear. The red dot is a little bit more distorted, and that doesn't mean you can't get hits on target. I just am not a fan of magnifying red dots. That might change one day. Might. But there you have it. All right. All right. Cool. Continuing on over here. Holosun H510C looks great with a 3x magnifier. Okay. I should make a clarification, because red dot reticles that actually have like donuts and all that type of stuff are great. But if I'm thinking of something like an Aimpoint T2 where it's just a single dot, I feel like there's more distortion there. Maybe it's just because it's too freaking bright. I don't know. But I would have to take a look at the Holosun 510C and just see how it looks. Dennis, I'll take your word for it, though. I'll do more than take your word for it. I will try that, because I have a magnifier and I have a Holosun 510C. Why haven't I done this earlier? All right. Am I good at my job? Appreciate that, Dennis. Thank you. Billy Ryder, what's up? Billy, good to see you. I'm just responding to how I think you yelled my name. Let's see here. John is saying this is okay, but I'm waiting on the Thanksgiving special, Talking Turkey with Kaya. Good. Jared, dude, just letting you know, my build of 14.5 M4A1 Riz 2 with Surefire Mini and Colt Lore was inspired from your Mark 18. Appreciate that. Thank you, Jared. And I hope you've enjoyed it, man. And the 14.5, I have a 14.5 Colt with the DD M4A1 Riz 2 with the front sight post sitting right over there. Though I've been thinking about selling it, but you know, it's just because I don't shoot it much. But thank you, Jared. Appreciate it. Monadnock shoot us. I just can't decide whether or not this is what Tanner was getting. Okay. Whether or not a magnifier is worth it on my SBR/pistol. I consider putting a magnifier for my EOTech on my 11.5 DD. I just can't justify it. So here's what's cool about a magnifier. You can take it off. Throw it in a dump pouch. They're actually very sturdy and very rugged. I typically take mine off if my Mark 18 is going to be, my bedside gun for the night, because maybe I was cleaning my 300 blackout and I didn't get done with it, or maybe I just wanted to, stare lovingly at my Mark 18. I'll definitely take the magnifier off and set it on my nightstand, or leave it on my desk or whatever. It doesn't always have to be there, which is pretty cool. And it's just one of those things where it's just another tool in the toolbox that you can use at any point in time. And another thing you can do is also keep it and use it just as a monocle, right? Or a monocular. Use it as a monocular. You don't have to, like I said, you don't have to keep it on the gun. So just cool things to throw out there. 510C is old. That's funny. Troy Strauss, still a good optic. Just finished my first AR build, 300 blackout that cost me $7K, worth every penny. Am very confident in teardown and swapping parts since I assembled. That is awesome. And also, yes, I love getting that confidence, especially the first time, like I said so many times, going to the range, shooting that build for the first time, and especially once you start getting those hits on target and holding a tight group. Yeah, that's satisfying. And then you start thinking, damn, I need to build another one. Oh, man. Let's see here. Let's scroll through. We're about 1:53. And so I'm going to get to just a few more, and then I'm going to call it a night. I'm just going to do a quick check. I want to make sure I got to everybody on the super chat here. And if I missed you, just, send another comment, or even DM me, like I said, on Instagram, magdump_Morgan, and I'll freaking reach out to you direct. Let's see here. Just like I said, I just want to make sure I didn't miss anybody. And again, thank you all for tuning in and hanging out and, being here. It's been freaking awesome. Thank you guys. With that, bam. Minadoc shoot is true. I never considered just taking it off. Maybe I'll invest in one. And when I build a 16-inch, if I don't like it on a shorty, it can live on there. There you go. Right? So, yeah, I like to have kind of like a library of optics, of uppers, of, you know, I ultimately want to turn my bunker here into an arsenal is one thing, but like an entire like team room, right? So that way, if my friends come over and we're just playing like, you know, tactical Legos together, and I say, all right, cool, let's go run a couple drills together, and it's like, oh man, well I brought my 16-inch over, you know, with you know, 3 to 12 magnification, and we're going to be doing stuff within 75 yards. You know, what else? Do you have anything I can borrow, or can we switch this out, switch that out? And I'd be like, hell yeah. Come with me, I have something to show you. And bam, now all of a sudden, you know, I like the idea of just having like that entire like mission room, you know, and you can just set up, load up anything and everything, and rock and roll. Go outside, zero, then start running drills, you know? And so I guess I ultimately want to turn my bunker into the classic firearms warehouse, but for me and my friends. So if there are any sponsors out there, that would be great. Oh, man. Let's see here. Clint, that's Suave Gomez. What buffer weight and spring do you use for your Mark 18 build using an adjustable gas block? My Mark 18, as far as the gas system, the barrel, the bolt carrier, and obviously the lower and the upper and the rail, are all factory. The buffer tube is factory. And that's it. Okay. I switched out pretty much everything else on that gun. Oh, the takedown pins are still factory. And so is the bolt catch. Okay, that's nitty gritty. The buffer I'm using right now, actually just an H2 buffer. I was running an H3 for a while, but I started actually, and I'm still running the original buffer spring, and it is compressed. If you were to hold it next to a new buffer spring, you will see the difference. In fact, my next live stream next Monday, I will keep both buffer springs out so you can see the difference. And my Mark 18, like I said, that's I promise you guys, that's actually not like my go-to-war gun and all that type of stuff. I want to run that gun. I'm still at about 7,000 rounds or so. I just want to run that gun till it just stops. And then I'll replace the barrel. Then I'll replace the buffer spring. Then I'll replace the bolt carrier group and the bolt and all that type of stuff. But until then, I just want to see how long it'll go. And like I mentioned with in the maintenance video with Jason, my guns that I actually am going to be like using to defend my and my family's lives with, those guns stay nice. My Mark 18, you see it all the time because I beat the shit out of it, right? That doesn't mean I don't beat the crap out of my, you know, shit hits the fan guns. But they get cleaned. They get parts regularly replaced and checked on. You know? So keep that in mind, okay? Alrighty here. But like I said, I'm not using an adjustable gas block and factory spring, which still blows my mind. And also, I think it is a H2 buffer that I'm using right now. Mike Riley, putting an AR together is one thing. Tuning it for recoil is another beast. Yes, it is. Finding that perfect spot, right? I've got an adjustable gas block on my Aero M5 build right back here. Thanks for the thumbs up. And tuning this little guy to get this to function with the rounds that I want when I'm shooting suppressed. It's fun. You know, I just barely want that thing. I want it to get to the point where it just barely locks back on the last round and then another couple of turns just to make sure I get enough gas in there so that way when it starts to foul up and get dirty and things like that, it's still going to run reliably. And I realized I was away from the microphone, so hopefully you guys heard me okay with that. Right? Right. Cool. Alrighty here. I think I got one more super chat, and I'm going to be leaving it off here. Unhealthy salad, not fun related, but how are your kids doing? Appreciate that, man. They're doing very, very well. It's crazy. that, for those of you that don't know, I've got a 9-month-old twins, boy and girl, and my daughter, me and my fiance's daughter, she's going to be giving her little brother hell. She is older than him by 1 minute. And it is, she's going to ruin my life. Oh God. But yeah, they're doing great though. So shit. Are you serious, Edgar? What I was saying about but thank you, Unhealthy Salad, for asking, man. But what I was ultimately saying about my adjustable gas block is tuning that and then getting it to cycle and getting it to lock back on the last round, right? Just barely. And then giving it a couple of extra turns just to make sure that it gets enough gas in there to be functioning and cycling reliably. You know what I'm saying? So there you go. All right. Guys, I think I'm going to call it a night there. And head on to bed. It's about 2 hours, almost at 2 hours exactly. It just turned. I saw it. And we're going to call it that. And still over 5,500 live viewers right now. Thank you all so much for tuning in. It means the world that you guys would take a couple of hours out of your Monday night to come and talk guns and family and whatever comes across the comment section. It's honestly a really, really good time. So thank you guys so much. I know you must be West Coast over there, the Prone Ranger. It's only 6. Yeah, I hear you. Good night. Good night, every last one of you guys. Same time tomorrow. No, don't put that out there, Tanner. No. Yeah, no, I'm not going to be doing much of anything tomorrow. There are a couple of videos I want to get done, but I'll get through them. Again, thank you all. And appreciate it. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate you all. Thank you guys. And I will leave it with that. Jessica Sim 44. God bless America. God bless all y'all that are watching. And there was something like profound that I really wanted to say here. Like Aaron's dad advice. Maybe I could leave you with some. But the only thing I really want to say is spend time with your family, love them, and show them the glory that is the Second Amendment and why it exists. And let them know that tyrants deserve to hang. All right, guys. As always, I appreciate every last one of you. Thank you again, all of you, for tuning in with me tonight. And with that, I will see you guys next week. You will see me, of course, here on this channel because, I've got videos scheduled to come out. So see you guys soon. Don't forget to follow at @magdump_Morgan on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook and wherever else there's social media, except TikTok. I'm not there. I might be because I posted one video one time that I talked about last time. Whatever. Good night, guys. See y'all next time. God bless.